G'day guys, it's Calvin. Jason's back there from the Cartoon Company in New Zealand. I'm seeing a lot more guys who have got the standard computers that have failed, and the wiring looms, the stock wiring loom, have been around the block once or twice and been got at. Can you hear it beeping?
It's Lindsay on his truck. There.
That's very annoying.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, we're needing a solution. We're needing a good solution. So I sat down and we've put together just where we've used to do everything was custom. We've made some very simplified basic looms that outside the firewall plug are almost all the same. And I say almost all the same, we do alter where we put the fuel pressure on a few of them, the fuel pressure sensor or the plug, and we do a coil on plug version, and we do a standard leads and distributors setup with the standard twin distributor. We make them for both the link ECUs, so that the single plug atom or the monsoon, and we also do them for the single plug Haltech, which are the 550, 750, 950. And we don't actually use many of the atoms. We much prefer the monsoon, thinking it's much better value. And the connector on the ECU is actually the same between the Haltech and the link. However, the pin out is different. We're using the same power supply with the same connector between all of them. Same fuse box setup. Comes with a 65mm grommet. We put 1.5 meters of vacuum hose running up to the back of the plenum. Or if it's a 20 series, we'll run it a little bit further and we'll run it to the front. We've got a couple of options for going under the intake manifold. They've all got the knock sensor stuff in there, because that way we build the loom the same. However, not everyone wants the knock sensor fitted, so there's a different little sub loom going into the starter motor. Air temp sensor, we pretty much do the air temp sensor the same way every time, and give that air temp sensor right there. They're all wired for a 2-wire idle speed control unit like that. As you can see, this one is for the leads and distributors. It's actually going to a guy who he also requested a trigger wheel, so I'm going to just chuck that in the box for him. And he's chosen to do an upgrade on, which is easy with this little sub loom, to a oil pressure sensor. So that's been checked and tested on this loom. If he wanted, on this one, there will be a, there it is, fuel pressure sensor. He could choose to put that in there and tap it in this case, in that spot right there, where the cold start injector goes. Cold start has been removed. Of course, we've also got just the normal water temp sensor for the gauge. It's got a common 7-pin Bosch. I would call it a Bosch 200. There's actually a big long proper set of numbers for that one, but there's lots of ones that will fit. Either 2-channel or 3-channel. I think that's a 3-channel. Pin out's the same, so it works just fine. He's chosen not to have the fuel pressure in this instance. There's one earth at the back, right there. Really important to put that on. Okay, really, really important. Now, power it up. Alright, there's the idle speed unit going with this one. To power it up, this big red wire gets 12 volts from the battery, preferably from a fuse, somewhere between 60 and 75 amp fuse. We'll put the other side on there for you to crimp on. In the loom, this is a dash plug. There's a power supply and an earth. There's oil from if we put it into the sub loom, Otherwise, there's one from the Link ECU. Water temp. If you want to run an aircon, there's a wire that can go down and trigger the aircon pump. There's a can plug. So you can put dashes, gauges, can lambda units, can be connected through that. Then there's this, it's the big 12-pin DT plug that powers it up. On the end we've got a fan relay right there, fuel pump relay. I put a start relay, so we do have an option without a start relay. The ignition relay and the EFI or the ECU relay. Fan, fuel pump is, so fan's the end fuse, fuel pump's the next one. Don't go over 18 amps. The fuel pump, which is a lot. Here's my ignition switch going on, which is kind of tricky with one hand. You'll see the little lights on, and we go vroom vroom. Old Yella getting another hammering. We've got out and we've checked the timing, the base timing on our test engine. So we know that the base timing is correct for the setup that we've made it for. I would still like people to check their base timing when they put it on their engines at their end, and that way they can confirm that mechanically it's correct, because we've already checked it electronically. We've set it up for the correct trigger wheels. Hopefully we have. Sometimes we put the VVTi trigger wheels in them, so we try to make sure we send the right one. I've kept this one simple, and I'm just chucking in a free second-hand one for the owner of this loom. He's bought lots of other stuff off me as well. There's a series of things we also should do, or should be done with them. The TPS should be calibrated, so that should be done. We have calibrated for a standard throttle body. And then once it's warmed up, base idle should be checked. We're also going to check the fan operation on it. We'll test that output to confirm that the fan does work. So we've gone through quite a checking process. From the length of it. So from that point there to that point there, around about 1.2 meters. That'll be 4 feet for the boys from America. And of course we do make them left-hand drive, okay? And we've tried to standardize them as much as we can to make it simple for the installers, and it also makes it easy for us to wire them. It's covered in this RNF 100, which is a Raychem product. Still high spec, just not as high spec as the likes of a DR 25. Oh, purge wire. So if you are running a breather for the fuel tank, that's in there. This one's got the standard noise suppressor. If it was coil on plug, there would be a couple of earths at the front, but as you can see, this is not coil on plug. It could also be changed around. If you ran a different trigger wheel, you could do away without the cam sensor, but we want to run sequential injection, which I think is quite important. Oh, semi-sequential. Did I say sequential? Yeah. Oh, semi-sequential. Yes, run semi-sequential. And because we've only got 4 outputs on this one. The right-hand cam sensor isn't used at all. And of course, cold start injector is removed, not running it. We can actually change it a little bit at the ECU and make it for a storm. Very easy for us to put a two two plugs on it that fit the Storm, the Link Storm. And we could probably do a similar thing in the Haltech range as well. But we're going to focus on the single plug ECUs at this point in time. Yeah, okay. We'll check the base timing, shall we? We'll do that fan out in base timing. We also take the time to fire them up on Old Yeller or our other test engine, because we know then that what we've made is 100% going to work. We have sent them out and guys have had incorrect cam timing up in the, actually in the scissor gears. They've had cams out, they had the scissor gears wrong, they had them wrong here, they've had rotors in wrong. So it's important to make sure you get that stuff right, because it doesn't matter what aftermarket ECU you put on. If that stuff isn't right, it's still not going to run. And we've tried to do as much as we can with a fairly basic ECU. So, if you're interested, give us a yell, email. There's emails in the credits or in the description, or you can just Google us. We're easy to find. So I hope that's been helpful. Talk to you again soon. We'll catch you later. Our bag of noise has got a hole in it.
Boom bag of noise.
Boom bag.
You might have overfilled a bucket of noise a couple of times.
Yeah, it was that return line not going in the right place. Alright, he's not getting fuel pressure though. Maybe we should have races to see how fast we can get these on and off.
I think you slow you down on that slow.
You haven't even been taking the throttle body off, eh? I must do a video on setting the base idle on the bench. We're firing, we've got another motor, we've got another loom to do, that supercharged one. Storm supercharged, so. Well done, looks good. So how long did that take you?
2 minutes.
I had to put a blanker in that fuel pressure, the oil pressure sensor.
It took you longer to do that.
It took me longer to do that. Oh, the bag's over here, man.
What's this?
So he's got the stepper, or a solenoid, the trigger wheel, the link, the relay box, and the tuning cable.
Which, is he taking that one or this one? Relay box.
The one that we just tested it with, eh? So it actually goes with the one we tested it with.